So we've talked about in section 4A things that are just little habits that can be expensive, and it's more to draw your attention to those things. Okay? There are things that we do on a regular basis. I know they cost money. Okay? But that's fine. We've got it built in, and I know what it's costing. Okay? We got into 4B, which was compounding, compound interest. And remember, there are two directions that can go. It can work in your favor if you're saving, if you're investing. It works against you when you're taking out loans. Credit cards are bank loans. Don't ever lose sight of that. Every time you buy something on a credit card, you just took out a bank loan for it. Okay. Drives my kids nuts. You know that. I've mentioned that. They see people charging stuff at McDonald's and they're, they took out a bank loan for French fries. Who takes out bank loans for French fries? They do. Okay. So that's what was going on with B, is to understand what's happening with compound interest, the different ways interest can be computed. And what we're going to go into today is saving and investing. Saving and investing are two different strategies. The intention of saving is to protect yourself or to work towards some short-term goal. You save a down payment for a house. Are you planning on it taking 40 years to find a house to buy? No. That's something usually a year or something like that out. So while you're looking, you start putting money aside for a down payment, because did you know that when you buy a house, you've got to have money in hand? Money like 50 bucks? No, money like $30,000, $40,000 money. Oh. Okay, most people don't make that a month. So you've got to save for a little period of time. Saving is for things like what we talked about here before, for when your car breaks down. Something's going to happen. You're going to need tires. You're going to need brakes. You're going to need something somewhere, aren't you? You know it's coming. If you save up a little bit ahead of time each month, are you really going to miss $40 a month? Probably not. Would you miss $400? Huh. Okay, but if you've been putting 40 bucks a month back, if you've been putting the probably not back every month for a while, when the 400 shows up, it's a big deal. You pay it and you move on and you start saving again, preparing for the next thing. Tires or whatever it's going to be. Cars are great, but they cost money. Okay? So the idea of savings is to protect yourself so that when things happen, you've already got it. It's covered. Does that make sense? Investing is different. The idea of investing is you're preparing for something that's down the road a piece. For most people, the biggest thing that they're going to invest in or toward is retirement. And you're probably getting sick of hearing me talk about it. Okay? But it really is something that you need to start. If you've got an opportunity now and you have extra money, throw it in there. Don't go taking out student loans so that you can put money into a retirement account. That's not a good move. Okay? But when you get a job and you're past schooling and all that stuff, start saving for retirement right away. Okay? I've already shown you some of the hints of you can retire a millionaire, can't you? Do you have to have been a doctor to make it as a millionaire? No. All you have to do is start and keep chugging away. A number of folks in here are going into nursing. That is a fantastic career. Okay? What do nurses start at? Yeah, it kind of depends on where you're headed. Suppose you get a job in a hospital. What do RNs in a hospital start around? 50 to 70. And oftentimes there's a signing bonus. What's a signing bonus? That's right. It's not an advance on your pay. It's extra money that you get. They're trying to entice you to work there. Okay? Okay to pick on you, Dolores? Okay. So Dolores graduates, degree as a RN. She looks around some of the hospitals, and there are several of them that would like to have her, and Mercy's offering a $10,000 signing bonus. What that $10,000 is it's extra money to entice Dolores to sign on there. Now, with that signing bonus, you agree to stay there for 3 years. So what they've got is they've got an employee who's promised to be there for 3 years. Okay? But what Dolores gets is she starts getting her paychecks every 2 weeks. But you know what she gets right up front? A check for $10,000. Just for saying, yes, I'll work here. Now, does every profession offer a signing bonus? No, teaching doesn't. There are lots of them that do not. There are some of them that do. Okay. So, there's that. With whatever job, hopefully they're going to offer some type of retirement. Be sure that you start early on it and stay regular on it. Okay? After a while, you just get used to it coming out of your check and you don't even miss it. You learn to live on what you got, whatever it is. And then when you retire, you're okay. You're not trying to find new recipes for dog food. Okay? So, does it make sense the difference between saving and investing? Saving is to protect yourself from upcoming expenses or to prepare yourself for upcoming expenses. Investing is for longer term being 25, 30, 40 years. Okay? Longer term stuff. Okay. One of the first things to take a look at here is if you've got an account going, let's say for your car. Right now you've got a beater. What's that? Okay? We've all driven them. I've driven them. I've driven cars that I would tell people in the passenger seat, lift your feet up, we're going to hit a puddle. And they laugh because they thought I was joking. And their feet got wet because they didn't lift them up. And they look at me, I told you to lift your feet up. Okay? We all have or had cars like that. And if you haven't, you've missed out. You get your best stories from those cars. Okay? I wouldn't have the wet feet story without that old car. Okay. You're putting money aside regularly. In this case, let's say regularly is every month. Now, this formula I would give you on a quiz or test or whatever. Okay? It's not one that you have to memorize. But the catch is you do have to know how to use it. Rats. So let's say you get a car, or you have a car, and you know it's not the world's most spectacular. And you're thinking, I want to get a little money put aside for if something happens on this car. Okay? So let's say that for 6 months, you put $100 a month. It's okay, I'll go back to it if you were partway through it. Or if you want, some people just take out their phones and snap a quick picture of it. But it's okay, it'll be back. It's not the end of it. Okay? So you're going to put $100 a month aside in a separate envelope account wherever you keep it for car repairs. Because odds are something's going to happen somewhere sometime. Going to do this for 6 months. And this account that you have it in pays 12%. That's an amazing amount. That is really high. And let's assume that is compounded monthly. Okay? Well, the question is, in 6 months, how much is going to be in this account? One of the key things to remember is this is a savings plan. This is not an investment. With savings, do you expect to make killer amounts of money? No. With savings, the idea is to have it there so that the money is there and it's liquid. Liquid? What's that mean they're going to do? Melt quarters? Liquid means it's easy to get at. If you've got money in a Roth IRA or a 401k, it takes weeks or months to get that money back if you ever get some of it back early, like to buy a house or something. Rule number one, never take any of that money out. Never touch it. Don't touch it. Never touch it. I'm seeing Dolores shaking her head. Have you seen somebody do that? Or
No, because I started my 401k.
good.
And my dad, we was talking about it. I explained like that I started it. So he was like, yeah, never pick it up.
That's right. Because
you got to pay back.
that's right. You've got to pay it back. Now you may come back and say, Chuck, did you know the IRS will let me take it out for a house or for getting my kids through college? Yes, I know that. But as Dolores pointed out, what do you have to do? You got to pay it back. And if you don't get it paid back within what the IRS says you got to get it paid back, guess what happens? You get taxed on that money. They treat it as income. Well, 15%'s not bad. No, it isn't bad if it was. Money that comes out of your retirement account's taxed at close to 50%. That means for every $100 you take out, they want half of it. So if you take out $10,000 to buy your house and you never pay it back, the IRS is going to show up saying, give us $5,000. That's not a good place to get money. Leave it alone. Okay? Anyway, you got a savings account. The idea of savings accounts is to protect you from having to dip into your other accounts. Okay. 6 months later, how much money is in this? Now remember, are we expecting this to double in amount? Or are we just hoping it's going to be liquid? Liquid means I can go down to my credit union and say, hi, my name is Chuck. They say, yeah, we know that. You've been here since forever. My account number is blah, blah, blah. I would like $1,500. And they say, do you want that back in any particular way? 20s and 50s is fine. And boom, how long does it take me to get my $1,500? Seconds. Right? No hassle, no tax problems, nothing. There it is. If it's in your 401k or your Roth, you've got to call people, and those people have to fill out paperwork, and it's this and that, and you wait around for a check to come in the mail, and then the IRS comes around, and it's a big mess. So there's a big difference between saving and investing. Okay? Let's figure out what the total amount is in 6 months. Well, let's see. The formula was the payment times, and we'll talk about this. Okay, it's going to be 1 plus the APR over N. And let's see, that's going to be raised to the NY minus 1 divided by the APR over N. That formula will be given to you. So the trick isn't memorizing the formula. The trick is, what do I do with it? There it is. How do I use it? Okay? Well, first thing you do is to go down through here and start labeling stuff. Payment. How much are you putting in a month? $100. Let's go after the APR. What's the APR? In this case, it's 12%, but on your budget, you just put in the 12, and it'll adjust for you. Okay, so some of your, you'll see things are circled. You put in 0.08. It should just be 8, and the mathematics there is already programmed in the cover for that. But here, you've got to take care of this yourself. Convert it back from a percentage. N is how often is the interest going to be compounded. Well, here it's compounded, oh wait, there it is, every month. So how many times a year are you going to get interest? 12 times a year. Y talks about how many years is this going to be in. Now, this is where people mess up. They see the 6 months, so they plug in 6. It's 0.5, isn't it? It's 1/2 of a year. It's 6 months out of the 12. So the number of years it's going to be in is going to be 1/2 or 0.5. Well, gosh, Chuck, which do we use? Either one. And we'll talk about this when we start plugging it into the calculator to see what's going on. So does it make sense what's going on here? All right, so the first step is to kind of lay things out. Payment, $100. Times, well, I've got this big fraction, and I'm sure not looking forward to putting that into the calculator. Yeah, that's why we're working through this one. Got this. Have 1 plus the APR. Oh, I'm going to be careful to put in 0.12 and getting paid 12 times a year. And let's see, it's going to be n times, you can either put a half or 0.5. Minus 1 divided by 0.12 over 12. Does that make sense how to plug these things into the formula? Okay? Now the cool thing about this is this formula allows you to add more money each month, doesn't it? When we were in section 4B, you just started out with some chunk of money at the beginning and you walked away from it, didn't you? You dropped in some p sub 0 and boom, we just watched that. This allows you to go every month, every week, every whatever. Does this make sense on how this is different from the other formulas? Okay. Well, if we take a look at this, there you go. There's the formula again, just in case you were before saying, oh, rats, he made it disappear too fast. So there's the formula. There it is with the numbers plugged in, which is what we had on the previous slide. Notice on this one, in the exponent, it's 12 times a half. Same thing as 12 times 0.05. Either way will work. On the calculator, it's easier to put in 0.05, which is why I wrote it down that way. Now, how do you start on putting something like this into the calculator? You pick off little pieces at a time, little things that are easy to do. Well, this doesn't look easy, Chuck. Okay, well, can you do 12 times a half on your calculator? Some of you can do that one in your head. What's 12 times a half? 6. Oh, so the exponent is really just 6. Make sense? So there's a little piece of it done. Look at this fraction here. Well, I don't know if I can do that one in my head, Chuck. That's okay. You've got a calculator. You put in 0.12 divided by 12. And the 0.12 divided by 12 gives you 0.01. Does that work? Hey, look, it's down here. Okay, so this is going to be 0.01. Okay, so what am I going to do now? Well, if you take a look, you have this 1 plus the fraction. But that fraction is really 0.01, isn't it? So what's 1 plus 0.01? 1.01. Oh, look, there it is. That exponent of 6, yeah? Oh, look, there it is. Oh, yeah, the denominator, oh, look, there it is. Do you see it? Just, that looks a lot less intimidating, doesn't it? Everybody good with that? Okay, so where's that take us? Well, you remember PEMDAS, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally? Start inside the parentheses first, right? Well, the inside the parentheses, the furthest thing you can go is this 1.01. Yep, right there. And you're going to raise it to the 6th power. So on my calculator, I'm going to do 1.01 raised to the 6th. If you have a TI-30 over to the right-hand side, right about here, it has that little caret key. If you have something like a TI-84, there's the caret key. And you do 1.01 raised to the 6th. And you get, oh, that's kind of nasty looking. This number works out to be 1.061520151. Geez, Chuck, how many digits do I really have to bring along? Well, if you plan this out right, you don't have to write down any or carry along any of them. Because what's the next thing you do math-wise in that? You subtract 1, don't you? Well, my calculator's got this big long number. So I'm just going to press subtract 1, enter. Does that make sense? And it's still got all those digits there. Okay, so I've done this, got that number with all those digits, subtracted 1. What's the next thing to do? Yeah, so I've got this big long number, and all I'm going to do is press divided by 0.01 equals, okay, so I've got some other number, 6.15 something or other. Is this working? Now what do? Just press times 100 equals. And you know what's really cool? How many times did you have to enter in all those decimals? Never did it once, did you? You just bring them along by planning this out step by step. And what this works out to be, 615.201506. And what are the units on this 615? 615 what? Dollars. Now, please don't ever give me an answer like that when you're talking dollars. Well, what's wrong with that answer? It's too long. Money only goes out 2 places, decimal places, doesn't it? So what you need to do is you look at the 3rd decimal place. Does that mean round up or down in this case? Round down. So I'm just going to drop this. How much money is going to be in that savings account after 6 months? $615. Now, does that sound like a reasonable amount? Well, let's think about it. Every month, I've taken $100 to the bank. And I've given you $100. By the end of 6 months, how much money have I left at the bank? $600, haven't I? So there should be at least how much in the bank account? $600. Plus a little bit more. How much more? Well, not another $1,000. You're not going to get $1,000 on that in 6 months. That would take decades. Okay? Oh, okay. Well, we're only doing 6 months. But notice, how much interest did I get? $15.20. So am I a little bit ahead of the game? Yeah. And the cool thing is, Elijah, it's okay to keep picking on you with this car thing. You're okay? I don't want you to think, geez, go to somebody else. Okay? The cool thing is, Elijah for 6 months goes to the bank. He drops off $100. He comes back, and he's got his money. Plus, there's a little bit extra. But the good news is he has his money. Because if something ever happens to his car and he needs to repair it, is it a problem? I just got to find a ride to the bank. Other people are there, oh no, what am I going to do? How am I going to get, I don't have any $600 now, what am I going to do? And Elijah said, okay, yeah, well, that's what I saved it for. And the cool thing is you just move on from there without having to have any big emotional blow-ups or anything. It really works. I promise you, it works. Okay. Does this make sense on the savings plan? All right, so part C, or section C, looks at 2 things. One is savings plans. Savings plans are for shorter term and to protect yourself, or shorter term and to acquire something that you know is in your future. Investments are for longer term things. Okay? Longer term plans. For example, Becky and I have talked about this repeatedly. We have no idea where Lauren and Daniel are going to get jobs. Lauren wants the farm, but if she lands a job out in Seattle, is that going to work very well for her to have a farm in Oxford, Ohio? And that's kind of a long commute. Okay? And what Becky and I have talked about is, if the kids don't want the farm, Daniel's already said, I don't want the farm. It looks like too much work to me. What we plan to do when we retire is sell it. Sell the house, the farm, the whole thing, and get a little ranch out in Montana or Wyoming. Okay? That's longer term. We're treating the house and the farm as an investment, hoping that it goes up in value. Okay? Most savings plans are things like, I want to buy a house in a year, so I got to start saving some money for it. I want to buy, as soon as we buy Becky a new car, you know what we start doing? Saving for the next one. We've already got money put back for her next car. Not all of it, but a chunk of money. She just bought a car. Well, we bought her a car about a year ago. Drove it home. Next month I started putting money back into a separate account for a car for her. We make car payments every month. But the catch is, who gets the interest? We do. Normally people take a car loan, don't they? And who gets the interest? Well, whatever company is loaning them the money. Okay. So do savings plans make sense to you? Where they should fit into your budget? Okay? They're to protect you from expenses you know are coming, or short-term things you want to do. Maybe it's a jet ski. I don't know. My son wants a jet ski. I told him to start saving. Okay. Now, the other thing, yeah.
I was going to ask you to go back to the definitions of all of them.
There you go. Smile, huh? Okay. Sure thing. Okay, my mom had her 90th birthday party here the other day. Oh, that reminds me, we got to talk about what July is going to be on the budget, don't we? We'll get to that here toward the end. Okay? A number of years ago, they sold their house and property because it was just more than they could take care of. And I begged them, I pleaded with them, please put it in these mutual funds. At that point, they were doing about 20% interest a year is what they were averaging. They were killing it. Okay? Good quality, blah, blah, blah. But Dad wasn't familiar with that kind of stuff. Well, I'm just going to stick it in the bank. You can't get 20% anyway. And a few years later, Mom started to figure out, you know what? This money really needs to be over there, but it was too late. It was tied up in these other accounts and things. And it was basically game over. The money was committed here, and it couldn't be moved. Okay? Now, they get money from it each month. They could have gotten more. And Mom and I were talking about it at a birthday party yesterday, and she said, I wish we would have listened to you. I wish we would have done this and that. I said, at this point it doesn't matter. You are where you are. The money is where it is. And, that's the game we're playing. Okay, my sister helped her get into what is called an annuity. Now, when you invest in mutual funds, which we will talk more about, you run the risk of losing your money. When you invest in an annuity, there is less risk of losing your money. It's a safer place to put your money. I will admit that all day long. It's a safer place to put your money. However, you don't get as much back. What happens with an annuity is you go to some investment firm. I can't look too far because of that. You go to an investment firm and they say, okay, how old is your mom? Okay, how much money do you have to invest? Get down some basics, and they do some number crunch, and they say, okay, if you give us this much money every month for the rest of your mom's life, we will give back this much in the form of a check. Now, that check may be every month, it may be twice a year, it may be once a year. How it is paid back is something that you negotiate or decide. Okay? With an annuity, that investment firm is locked into legally giving a check to my mom every month in the amount of whatever it is. I don't know. Okay, I stepped aside from the finances and I said, okay, that's fine. She can take care of it. Two people trying to run it doesn't work. It's a recipe for disaster. I'm at it. I'll just leave it alone. Okay? They have to protect themselves because what they're going to do with that money is they're going to put it in mutual funds and stocks. Well, mutual funds and stocks are like a roller coaster. They go up, they go down. They go up, they go down. Okay? And if they've got to write a check to my mom every month, they've got to write that check every month. It doesn't matter if the stocks are up or down. They've got to write that check. So what they will do is they will guarantee her a percent interest, but they're going to make it low enough that they can cover it with the up and down of the stock market, so they're never losing money. They can't lose money, can they? Yeah, you can't do that for long or you go out of business. Okay? So what happens with an annuity is it's fairly safe, but the percent interest they're going to pay you is fairly low. So what you're doing is you're trading off a return on your money for the return of your money. Does that make sense? Is it possible that an annuity can still go belly up? Yes, the company can still go bankrupt. And if they go bankrupt, how much of your money do you get back? None. You're done. It's all over. Okay? Does that make sense what an annuity is? It's intended to be a fairly safe way to guarantee that your money's coming back. A lot of people who are investment counselors would say stay away from it unless you really don't like any volatility. Ooh, what's volatility? If you don't like this up and down stuff, okay, if you don't like that, you pay for it because you're not getting much of a return, but you don't see any ups and downs. One type of an annuity, and I don't even know, I haven't asked them, like I said, I'm staying out of it. You only need one person driving this ship. Okay? They may have it set up that each month mom gets a payment. That is what is titled an ordinary annuity. Okay? Annuity due is a plan where the payments are made at the beginning of each period, and they define the period, usually quarter. Okay? These are just definitions, aren't they? There are things that you may have heard before, you may not have heard before. Future value. This is important. Remember with the saving up money for the car repairs, it was $100 a month for 6 months. At the end of 6 months, what is the expected value of that? It's not $600, it was $615.20. So the future value is typically due to the money that you have put in as well as any interest or growth that has accrued as well. Does that make sense? The future value is how much is going to be there in the future. Pretty clever name, huh? There is also something called present value. Ah, rats, I just took the picture before. Now there's a new one. Okay, but present value talks about how much money would you need right now. Okay? So, I don't know. For example, let's say Kirsten inherits some money. She has 2 ways to save for retirement. One is every 2 weeks you put some money into your retirement account, right? And 30 or 40 years later, ta-da, hopefully there's enough there that you can retire. The other way is right now you've got a chunk of money to put in. So let's say Kirsten gets something from from an inheritance, $250,000. She could take that $250,000 right now, put that into her retirement account, and never put in another penny and let it grow. And that'll grow to some amount. I'm making this up, I don't know. $3 million. She could also, every 2 weeks, put in some money and let it grow. $3 million. Either way, you end up at $3 million, don't you? Either by putting in a little bit every couple of weeks, or every week, or every month, or by taking and putting in one big wad right now. Present value is the wad that you would have to put in right now to be equal to every 2 weeks for the next 35 years. Does that make sense what present value is? Okay? It's important to be familiar with these things because as you get involved in retirement accounts, as you get involved in whatever it is you're going to be doing, things like this are going to start coming up. And if you just sit there and smile and shake your head, okay, like one of those bobblehead dolls, who knows what you're agreeing to do? When you are at a bank, and actually I'd encourage you to stay away from banks, when you're at a credit union, that's a much better place to do your saving. When you are with an investment firm, if there is something there you don't understand, you blow the whistle right there and you ask them, what does this mean? And if they're not willing to explain it, that's the wrong place. Okay? Do not sign your name to things you don't understand. Don't bobble your head to things because I'm afraid I'll look stupid. Personally, I'd rather look stupid for 10 seconds than look broke for 40 years. And hey, this isn't anybody I'm dating or, having social engagements with. This is somebody I'm hiring. And if they can't keep me up to date and inform me of what it is they're talking about, I don't want to hire them. Oh, you're kind of harsh, Chuck. No, just trying to protect you. Okay? Does that make sense? We'll get into more of this. There's a whole bunch going on with this stuff. Okay? Whoa. Draw $50,000 a year forever. Can you really get checks like that every year for the rest of your life and still have all your money? Yes. Can you really get that means you're getting $50,000 a year in interest. Can you really get $50,000 a year in interest? And the answer is it's very easy. It just takes putting money down every 2 weeks. $50,000 a year is very easy to do. Okay? Now, let's drop back to the mirror from the retirement. Boy, that'd be sweet to retire 25 years from now. That puts you what, 43, 45? Wow. You get bored. You can only watch so much TV. Let's talk about the budget for July. We'll come back to this problem. We will start here on Wednesday. Okay? Let's talk about the July budget. You are really going to find it is the case that every month your money is trying to fly away some new place other than just electric and water. Every month somebody's going to have their hand in your wallet, especially when you get kids. Okay? Every time we breathe, move, or go anywhere, the kids want money. Okay? I promise you. I promise you. They're great. They're the best thing going. I promise you that too. Just remember that there are some days where I have to remind myself I love this kid. Let me write that out 10 times. I love, and I'm not going to fill in the name. Okay? But you're going to find it when you get out there, every month there's something or other that comes up. July, what happens in July? 4th of July, right? People go out on picnics, people go out to the lake, all kinds of stuff. You've got two options. There are options in life as an adult. Option number one. Well, I don't know why it wrote like that, but it did. Option number one. That wasn't me. You can go boating and skiing. Ooh. Behind door number one, we have boating and skiing. Ooh. One of your friends at work owns a boat. They've kind of thrown the offer out there. Hey, everybody, how about we all go to Brookville this weekend? We'll meet up Saturday morning about 8 o'clock at whatever parking lot. I'll have the boat. We'll haul it out there. We'll fuel it up. We'll spend the day cruising the lake, tubing, skiing. Have a good old time. Okay? Now, if you go that route, now remember, you're an adult, no longer a kid. that boat just fly around that lake on its own? No, you're going to paddle it, right? We're not paddling this boat. It's going to take gasoline, isn't it? Gas for boats is a lot more expensive than cars. It is. No, even regular gas. It's like $4 a gallon. Why is that? Because it's right there by the edge of the lake. It's called you're paying for convenience. You get your boat in the lake. Are you really going to pull it out and drive 15 miles into town to put gas in it? Or are you just going to come sporting up to the dock and drop the hose in? Yeah, well, they know that too. $4 a gallon. Okay, so there's gas. And let's see. Nobody's going to eat anything for the day, right? Oh, wait a minute. You're just going to sit there. Ooh, that looks good. Can I have part of that hamburger? Hey, that watermelon. Wow, can I have a slice of your watermelon? Ooh, Pop, yeah. Can I borrow one of your cups? Last time you'll ever get invited anywhere. Okay? Last time you'll ever talk to you in the office. So this is going to take gas. It's going to take food. There's always other stuff going along, like flip-flops. You know, you blow them out. Suntan lotion. Oh, wait a minute. I need some kind of a hat. You get the idea. Okay? You better figure on spending about $110 if you're going on the boating skiing thing. Okay? Option A, boating and skiing. $110 if you've got it. If you don't have that, you must go to the family picnic. Or grill out, whichever it is your family does. And now, as a real live adult, a contributing member to the family, as well as to other stuff, guess what you got to bring? Food, meat. That's right. You're going to be a big hit if you bring steak. Or thick cut pork chops. Oh, yeah. Or stuff like that to grill out. Okay? We had my mom's 90th birthday party yesterday. Becky and I provided napkins, cups, plates, decorations, stuff like that. Talk about cheap, man. Dude, really? All you brought was some paper plates and that kind of stuff. We ran up about a $200 bill buying that kind of stuff. Okay? Whoa. And everybody else knew that we were paying our share. Nobody else questioned it. Okay? Because the rest of the crew knows that stuff costs money too. So you're going to bring some plates, some napkins, some meat, a side dish or two, or a watermelon, and let's say you get by pretty cheap. You're $40 into it. We do a family reunion at our place every year. I'll tell you what, man, it costs us more than $110 plus $40. Uh-huh. And people are bringing covered dishes too. They're helping out. Nobody's mooching. And we know it's going to cost us a chunk, but it's okay. We want the family to have a place and an opportunity to get together, and it's way worth it for us. Okay? Does that make sense? Are you okay? Wednesday, we will pick up here with you retiring comfortably. Okay, we'll get you more comfortable than $50,000 a year if you are able to follow through and start early. Hey, I'll see you all Wednesday. I hope you have a good day.